and welcome to Kappa's Careers in the Arts series, where we explore the many career opportunities the fine and performing arts have to offer. I'm your host, Amy Handra, and today we're exploring the career of graphic designer. To get started, let's talk about what graphic design is. Graphic design is the form of visual communication that uses a combination of images and text to reach an audience. In the performing arts, graphic design can be used to promote a production or performance, to sell tickets through advertising, to convey complicated information on a website in a digestible way, or to develop an organization's identity through branding. A graphic designer is a visual artist and communicator who creates visual concepts by hand or by using computer software. Through the principles of design, which are a set of guidelines that help achieve effective composition, a graphic designer helps convey complex messages and ideas to inspire, to inform, and to compel people to take action. And in the performing arts, those actions might include purchasing a ticket, buying a subscription, making a donation, or attending an event or program. And today, we're delighted to be talking to Kappa's own graphic designer, Lisa McClymont.
A graphic designer works to build what's called branding, and that is an identity that's individual to a business. For example, Kappa uses a brushstroke instead of a hard typeface with hard edges, hard lines, straight lines, to make an individual look. We also use color and shape to make symbols that represent what we do. I think that a lot of designers, especially my age, came to it from a roundabout way. So I always identified as an artist. But in high school, I ended up doing things like joining the yearbook club and drawing typography. And I did all these things, and my guidance counselor said, "Have you heard of graphic design?" So I tried it out, and I fell in love with it. I got a full ride to OSU, the Ohio State University. And went from there. So I got out of school and jumped right into freelancing, where I got to consult with a lot of different businesses, and I learned how to talk to people and how to present my ideas and make them really sharp. And 20 plus years later, I've found my way here. But I would want to back up and say, before I was in high school, as an artist, a young artist, a young black artist, I was in New York, and my mother was falling into lots of difficulties. So one time we were getting evicted, and I offered my crayons because I thought, you could make some money off of this stuff. So that was the start of it for me. So around 5 or 6 is when I knew for sure I'd be a creative, because I valued those tools the most. So I identify as a visual artist and graphic designer, and I find that my graphic design training brings in a lot of exploration and curiosity. So I feel like as a creative, or as any creative, leading with your curiosity is a great thing. So whether you do pen and ink or paint with pixels, I think exploring different mediums helps you think differently when you bring it back to what you love most. Oh gosh, there's multiple parts that are fun. The research part is really fun for me. Learning and finding connections is one of my favorite things. But then launching that, the excitement of going to press or launching it digitally, is part of it. But the biggest excitement is watching people react to it. If they can find something that they love about it and that they're vocal and they share it, like that's the gold. It's better than the pay, although the pay is really good. So high schoolers that have been already doing, because nowadays any age can jump in, like middle schoolers are designing t-shirts and getting into lots of things. I think the best thing you could do is research fonts, look at everything you could possibly look at. Font Squirrel is a great site. Google actually, fonts.google.com I think is the site, has a lot of different types of fonts, and then try those fonts. Look at how you could illustrate emotion, because that is something that's really important to apply. Learning programs like the Adobe Suite, there are competitors, but there's not a lot of competitors. The industry standard is Adobe. So you want more than Photoshop. You want InDesign, you want Illustrator. You want to learn about vector-based design, which is outlines that can be scaled to any size. So, people that do billboards, like you drive by on the road and you see this huge sign with a huge face, a lot of it, if it's hard edge lines, they call that vector, and you just draw an outline and you fill it with color or gradients, blends of color, or even photography, and you can scale that to really large or really tiny for web use. Some of the more important, what they call soft skills in the business world, would be learning to collaborate with people and work with people to build on an idea. So a lot of designers end up being the last stage before something launches, but to get to that point, you have to find ways to build relationships with other people. So the writer, the person that came up with the idea, usually that's the project manager or the team lead. It might just be a random client, like a relative that asks you to make something for them to produce. Like, I need a poster for my church. You want to work with them and ask them questions. Even questions like, what's your favorite color? Might help inform what you create and you present to them, and then they fall in love with it. If you don't ask the questions and build that relationship, it's really hard to get something that they like right off the bat, because they don't feel like they were brought into the process. So it's really important that you could be a creative that can do a lot of things, but you should never work in a silo. Always find opportunities to make connections with people, because inevitably you're going to learn something, and that will enrich what you create even more. I would love to say that if you are very shy and introverted, or you have a really tight focus on things, look into the arts. Find something in the arts to focus on, because your energy is what's needed. To be able to put focus into something and produce something that you can share with the world is really enriching. I'll also say I was a really shy kid. I really had a hard time talking to people. So jumping out of college and jumping right into freelance for myself was the best thing I could do, because I really did learn how to talk to people. And that is one of the most important skills, and you don't get that in school. But being in school builds networks and helps you connect with people that can take you further. So even if you're self-taught and you are really great at being creative, you have to find pockets of people to work with. So I would say volunteer, put yourself out there. Don't beat yourself up if you decide not to do something, but definitely find ways to put yourself out there, because it will enrich your life and it will empower you to push your ideas out there so they're not locked in your head, because they're all very important ideas, and you should push yourself to do that. So Festival Latino is an event that CAPA runs that represents or celebrates Latin culture in all of its forms. So anything from music to food to dance is another piece, and art are all brought together, and we just enjoy what that offers. This logo got a lot of mileage, and we all felt that we needed a refresh. And instead of just changing the colors and moving elements around, we thought we would just overhaul it altogether. And we took this opportunity to work with a Latin American designer, he's actually Puerto Rican, to give that identity the respect that it needs from that culture. So he came in and worked with us to he asked a lot of questions about what we were looking for, and he also gave us a lot of what he knew the culture was. So it was that, give and take that we did there. And in the midst of while he was working, I was tasked to work with him to help bring the ideas together to present them to our team. So what I did was work with him on refining the color palette and boiling down the logos to number them and show and present them in a form where we could discuss them. You put these visuals together with intention as a package, and then you present that and you talk that through with people. And then when they are presented the ideas, me as a designer would ask them questions like, outside of the what is your top choice, we want to get into like, I like that one. We want to ask them why. How would you rank the others? Is it the color that thrills you? What do you think is the most memorable when you look at these? Do they withstand time? Like if you were to look at this 5 years from now, can you envision this being a logo that you could live with? So these are questions that we asked our interior team. But if you're a freelancer, you would present this, and it would be our in-house team would be the client, and we get the feedback from them, and then we go back and we do some edits. And I want to show you this logo here was the one we ended up gravitating towards as a team, but we wanted to refine it a little bit more. So we made it so it felt very much like an exclamation point, and there was a lot of strength in it, and we added some color and life. And red being a very strong cultural color, we thought it would be a really good one to lead with. And then we have some subset colors. And then we always produce a logo in black and white, so we have that variation. If there's ever an opportunity to do a t-shirt and we can only afford one color, that's what the one color, a black or a white, does. So it gives us an ability to step back and look at how many different ways a logo can be used and how we grow with it. I'll also want to share one more thing, and that is products. So, everybody loves a t-shirt. The first thing we usually do is try a logo on a wearable product or a cup or a pen or something that people want to hold and like take with them. So this is all the variation that we've created. When we launch this logo this year, it'll be a 25-year celebration. So we added a little bug to the logo that's 25 years with a sponsor. Sponsor is a business that gives money to support the growth of that event. So this year, every year really, Honda represents the Festival Latino. This year, I believe it's going to be in person. I'm not sure yet, but if it's not, it'll be online again. It was online last year. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to seeing people walking around in this new logo t-shirt.
So, as you learned from Lisa today, creating a visual design requires clear communication, creativity, and collaboration. For today's extension activity, research the principles of design. Then, pick a favorite quote, piece of advice, or song lyric, and using the principles of design, create an effective visual representation. To learn more about today's career, visit CAPA.com for additional resources. And be sure to tune in next time when we explore another career in the arts.